did you first get into cricket and what was your pathway?
So, like most young lads, I got into cricket sort of when I was younger, when I was probably about 10, at my local club. Just went down there with my friends and played in the nets really, and just mucked about on the outfield, and then got involved that way. Played a sort of village cricket in Sussex, played a little bit, I think I played a season for West Sussex under 13s. That was about the highlight of my career. And so that's how I sort of got into cricket and got to sort of enjoy it and love the game.
When did you first join the Isle of Wight Cricket Board and what is your current role?
So my current role is I'm the Cricket Development Manager, which means I oversee sort of all of the cricket areas on the island. I started working on the island in 2007. It was about July 2007, I think it was, when I started. So been over here a fair few years now and got to sort of really get into sort of to grips with it, and made some really good changes and affected some real changes as well, which has been really good.
Lovely. Tell me how parents could get their kids into the Isle of Wight cricket setup.
So I guess the normal or sort of easiest route is when they're young, sort of 5 upwards, they can join All Stars Cricket, which is a national programme across the country and Wales as well, across England and Wales, which is a fun sort of intro to cricket that gets parents involved as well, and it's more about learning the skills and having a bit of fun and doing lots of activities. And then there's the stepping stone from there is Dynamos, which again is a national programme across England and Wales for 8 to 11-year-olds, and that is taking it from that skill setup and in taking it into sort of more of the game situation. So that's sort of the traditional route, but lots of people come in through sort of different avenues really. Some people will try it for the first time when they're at school and come in that way and sort of then get straight into playing hardball. So there's lots of different ways for kids to get involved, whether they're sort of really young or a little bit older, or even at secondary school there's lots of cricket played through there as well. So there's lots of opportunities for people to get involved with the game.
What do you like about the current Isle of Wight cricket setup and how do you think it could be improved?
I think the island has got some really good advantages for the kids that get into cricket early. There's lots of opportunities for younger players to get playing in adult cricket quite early, because we haven't got this huge structure here, so there's lots of great opportunities to play some touring cricket, sort of friendly cricket, adult cricket, and I think that really helps sort of get people ingrained into their clubs. I like the fact that it's a close community, and like with the younger programmes, people can travel quite happily and play sort of a programme wherever it may be. Whether they live in Freshwater, they can come to Newport, or if they live in Ryde, they can go to Arreton, say, and it's not too far for everyone. So there's lots of opportunities, which means we can spread things out across a week and hopefully capture as many people who want to get involved in the game. Things I'd like to sort of see develop are our opportunities for a wider audience, I guess. So we're doing lots of stuff around sort of disability cricket and women's and girls cricket at the moment, which is going really well, but also a little bit more sort of community-based stuff, going out into some of the I'm trying to think of some good examples for you, but like just trying to engage people into cricket. It might not be playing it, might be coming to watch it, or playing table cricket, or using cricket as a way of just getting out there and exercising. You know, we've got a population on the island that's getting older, so how can we engage those people more into cricket, whether it is playing different formats or different ways of getting involved in cricket, or is it just about coming to watch and making it social, or using it as a way to get people together so they can just socialise together really, and improve sort of that side of it as well. So sort of just spreading the sort of impact that cricket has across the island.
So following on from that, how is the Isle of Wight Cricket Board attracting the wider community? So for example, disabilities, women's cricket and elderlies.
So we're doing disability-wise, we're just about, hopefully, to employ someone to oversee a programme that's run by the Lord Taverners, which is called Super Ones, which is a cricket coaching playing programme, but it's got it's more about personal development as well, so using cricket as a vehicle to sort of improve people's lives and to get them into other things as well. So they'll go and play cricket each week, but also they will maybe go and do something that helps them, like write CVs or get some experience around that side of things. We're doing sort of sessions within schools. Some of the schools like St George's and St Catherine's, we're doing cricket sessions with those schools, which one of them happens at New Close here. Women's and girls, there's lots going on. We've got an under 13s and 15s girls county team. There's a number of clubs with sections that are sort of developing slowly, and they're getting to play more and more cricket, which is great. And then obviously you've got your national programmes where we're getting some good uptake from girls and stuff. So it's a really good way to sort of draw them into the game slowly. And it's not just about playing hardball, there's a lot of softball options around that, especially for the disabled and for the women's and girls as well. So it's just about them playing cricket. It's not really too bothered about them playing the sort of traditional format with a hardball. Otherwise, we've done a little bit of table cricket with an Alzheimer's cafe down in West White. So we just went in there and people can just get up and have a go and play a bit of cricket there. And we've done some stuff called like zone cricket down at Ventnor, where we've tried, which is for sort of over 50 participants. So it's not about sort of running around so much. You get a zone to just work in and you don't have to sort of charge about. So it's a bit less dynamic, but like still a good way of getting people together and playing cricket in a different way. So there's some of the ways that we're sort of trying to attract people into the game.
Is there any assistance that people can tap into from the Isle of Wight Cricket Board in terms of getting kit and trying to build on them?
Yeah, so it's something we talk about and we discuss quite a lot, about trying to keep the cost of cricket as low as possible. Our clubs are really good at that. For me, like, as training is probably £1, £2, £3 for people. We try to keep match fees as low as possible. I know the clubs again are really good at that. But yeah, there's a chairman's fund where there's some money set aside that they can allocate to players if they wish, to help them get kit and things like that. We've just got some grants from a charitable trust called Johners, which is to support certain individuals in getting kit and paying for match fees or training fees and things like that. And then we support with ferry crossings for players who are travelling over to Hampshire or travelling further afield, to sort of help cover a little bit of costs around that, discounts in that area. And we're looking at the moment about setting up a cricket sort of trust, and the whole point of the trust is to sort of support that area a lot more. So trying to make sure that we can support clubs and individuals in helping them get equipment and kit to help get more people into the game.
We heard that there's some issues in getting cricket into schools. Is that true?
I hear this a lot from that cricket in schools is sort of disappeared, and you hear it nationally a lot as well. I think on the island there's a lot more that goes on in schools with cricket than actually most people know. It probably goes under the radar a little bit. So we have competitions for under 9s all the way through to under 9s all the way through to year 10 in schools. Now different schools will enter more or less depending on sort of their PE department and the way the school operates. Some schools are a bit, make it harder for school kids to get out of classes and things like that, so they probably do a bit less. Some are a bit more sort of engaged in sport generally, so they will do a bit more. But yeah, so there is competitions all the way through for boys and girls, all the way through pretty much secondary school and junior school, primary school. There's beach cricket competitions, festivals run. It's a key aspect of what we do, and it also feeds into our one of our partners, which is Chance to Shine, and we go into pretty much nearly every primary school with Chance to Shine, which through some sort of competition or coaching in school, and then we hit a lot of secondary schools with girls stuff with those guys as well through Chance to Shine. So there is a lot that goes on. We probably just don't shout about it enough. I think we're quite lucky on the island. I think it in some areas it is a lot worse, but yeah, it's not too bad here. A lot of it depends on staff as well and their enthusiasm for the game and their understanding of the game, because some people sort of shy away from it a little bit because they feel like cricket's a bit complicated with its terms and its signals and all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, that's sort of the barriers that we need to get over, really.
Good. Can you explain the current training and development pathways that you offer in all forms of the game?
Yeah, so we have a pathway, like I said earlier, that starts from sort of under 5, where there's access to come into the game, and then it goes through All-Stars cricket, Dynamos cricket, then into which is in clubs, and then you get into what we'd call our traditional format of cricket, so under 11 club cricket, 13s, 15s, like competitions, and that sort of ramps up as you're going up the pathways. And then obviously from there, if you've got the will to go to performance or the skills to do that, then obviously there's a performance program which starts again at about under 10 and runs all the way through, and we run teams from under 10 all the way through to under 18. There's no 50s team and senior first 11 team. We've got a disabled side that represents the county as well, and obviously we just set up a couple of girls teams as well that do. So there's lots of development through there, and people can come in and out of that as they wish. Our big thing really is to get as many kids and people into the game playing in clubs, because that's what is going to hold the game together on the island. So we need to really make sure that our membership is strong, and it is turning over, so you're getting younger people come through and join clubs and their families, and try and make that game a family game again, so we get more people into the game. But if you're a player looking at the heavy heights of becoming a professional, then the pathways there and the way that you would go through any other county is still available on the island. So you'd go through playing county age group cricket, then you would join a academy at a first class county, and from there, if you're lucky enough and good enough, then you'd be offered a contract, and then you'd go into second 11 and first team cricket.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years within the setup?
That's a good question. I think I'm getting to that point now a little bit where I've started to think about maybe what I'd like to do next. It's like any job when you're in development, it doesn't ever really end. You don't feel like you've got to where you wanted to get to, because you're always thinking of the next thing. So it is really difficult, but I think naturally, new people come in with new ideas and want to try things in a different way, which is fine. So yeah, I think I'm not sure where I'll be, to be honest. I still like to be playing in the game, helping and developing the game, whether that's on the island or off the island, who knows. So we shall see.
So how does cricket fit into your personal life today?
So, as well as it being my job, well, from a family perspective, my kids have just sort of started to get into cricket. I've got my eldest son's just started playing at under 11s and a bit of indoor cricket through the winter, and they've been through All Stars and Dynamos, and my daughter plays a little bit as well. she is a bit more of a effort to get to play. She hasn't quite sort of fallen in love with it, shall we say, at this moment. And then my youngest, who's 4, he's going to do All Stars for the first time, and he received all his kit through the post at the start of this week, actually, and he was over the moon about it. And I think he's gonna be our little sporty one, really, because he's properly into it already and just likes going around whacking a ball and stuff. So in terms of family, that's how it fits in. And then I do a bit of coaching. I help with the Arroton ladies team and do a bit of coaching with those ladies, which is great fun, and they're a great laugh as well, so that's quite nice. And then I do a little bit down at Ventnor with where my kids play cricket as well, and just sort of fill in really when they need me to. So that's sort of how it fits into family life. It's starting to take hold.
What cricketers do you look up to?
Well, some of them I think are on the walls here. So Ian Botham's an obvious one. I think when I sort of in the 80s and grew up through the 80s, he was sort of the main cricket sort of person that everyone sort of knew. So I would say Ian Botham was definitely one of them. Some of the present day cricketers I really sort of look up to as well, because they've sort of changed the game. Those who have changed the game, so like Shane Warne, obviously, and some of the English guys like Alistair Cook and Joe Root. They're all a bit understated, but they're great cricketers, and I think they're really good sort of role models for people to follow. So they would be the people really that I'd say. But Ian Botham's the main one that I looked up to when I was a kid.
Can you tell us some success stories from the Isle of Wight cricket setup?
Well, yeah, I think we've been really lucky with producing sort of like professional cricketers. So there's a number of players who've gone on to sort of represent counties and England as well. So we've been really, really lucky. So you've got Mark Garraway, who played for Hampshire and was one of in the coaching setup at England. You've got people like Steve Snell, who played at Gloucestershire and Somerset, and now he's back at Gloucestershire as the director of cricket. You've got present people like Danny Briggs and Adam Hose, who are both at Warwickshire doing amazing jobs sort of in the different formats that they play, and they're obviously both in the 100 as well, and got picked up in that, so that's really good. And then sort of around that you've got people who are sort of coaches like Charlie Freeston, who's a coach over at Hampshire, who's from the island, and then and there's Dave Griffiths, who played at Shanklin on the island, but played for Hampshire and Kent for a while as well. So there's been lots of really sort of a strong sort of pedigree of players come from the island, especially for an island with such a small population. It's been really quite impressive.
Do you have any other hobbies or sports that you have an interest in?
So when I was younger, and you could do it a bit easier when I was younger, I played a lot of football and then played cricket in the summer, and I played football to a fairly decent standard when I was younger. So I played until I was about 42 football, so I've stopped now. My knees have given up with that. So I played a lot of football and enjoyed my football, but now I mainly sort of get out on my bike and like mountain biking, so that's sort of my thing now really, that I do away from cricket, which is good.
What would be your advice to your younger self?
I think from a sporting perspective, I think it would be to listen a bit more when I was younger to people and some of that advice that was put out there. I think when you're a bit younger, you sort of feel like you know it, and you know the way forward with things. So probably that a little bit more, and probably would have looked after myself a little bit better than I did. I picked up quite a few injuries when I was younger, and probably didn't respect that at the time, and just tried to play on them. So probably those sort of things. So just sort of listen to people a little bit more.
Do you feel that new shorter formats of cricket has affected the traditional test match format?
I I'm still not sure you can really tell at the moment. I think it does feel like it could have a bit of an influence on and affect it a little bit. And I don't mean that just necessarily from a playing perspective, but also from the younger audiences and stuff. They want things a bit quicker, and they want to see things happen. And what's more exciting than cricket than wickets being taken and the ball being hit for six? As much as possible in a game. So I think we'll see if it does have a massive impact on it. But it has had, there is some advantages. It's bringing new people into the game to watch the game and so on. It's getting cricket out and about around different places, because some of the traditional grounds like the Ageas and other test match hosting grounds, they can't host everything. So a good example is here at New Close, where they've had Hampshire come and play a 4-day game, and they're going to have a 1-day game on the 9th of August here against Northants in a 50-over game. And that wouldn't have come here if it wasn't for things like the 100 and so on. So there are some benefits, I guess, to the island a little bit with getting to see some professional cricket on their doorstep, which would be great. But I think the one thing for me is the players that are the top players tend to play in all the formats. So I think there is that ability to play across formats if you are good enough to do that. But there are lots of people who are just focusing in on that shorter format, and it's quite an easy way to find a good living as well, isn't it? Going around the world picking up franchise cricket seems to be something that a lot of the players are doing.
Is there anything else you wish to communicate?
No, I think if people really want to get into cricket, then the first sort of place to look is on our website, which is iowwhitecricket.co.uk, and all the information and contact details for different programmes and board staff and directors is all on there. So that's probably the first port of call for anyone wanting to get involved in cricket. And obviously we're on all the social media platforms as well, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's just I Love White Cricket, which is you look for. So other than that, no.
The links will also be on WightQuest.com. And finally, could you tell us a cracking joke?
I'm going to be upfront about this and say that I have stolen this from my daughter, who told me this at the weekend. And it is, I've made a song up about a tortilla, but it's more of a rap. Maybe seen as a dad joke.
Stuart, it's been lovely chatting with you. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Olly. Cheers.